right? Being able to shift it. Certain levels of consciousness we don't, right? Being able to shift one's thoughts, what like condition oneself, right? To we say it a lot, right? We say it with unlearning and learning. You know, we say it with we have to unlearn something in order to learn something else. What does that look like? Is it something that is easy to do? If I tries to give us different, the Orisha even try to give us these insights into how to have these shift in consciousness, these changes of perspective, these rules in order to help mold and shape our reality. How do we do that? There's plenty of Odu Ifa on it, right? But it just depends about if we're looking at it clearly. Are we looking at it clearly? Oyeku Gasa, Oyeku on the right and Osa on the left. It tells us the hawk cannot snatch a dog, right? It can't, right? The hawk's a small bird. It's telling us something about the level of consciousness, the level of awareness, right? So whether we are those two participants, the hawk and the dog, or we're someone on the outside looking in, right? It's telling us the rules of the relationship based on the size of the hawk and based on the size of the dog, right? It's telling us what can and can't be done, what is in the ability and the awareness of the hawk, what in this instance is the defense mechanism of the dog. It's important. Be like, of course, the hawk can't snatch a dog. The hawk is it kills other birds. It attacks and fights other birds. It tells us about even the temperament of a person, right? They will pick on things as prey. They will go after the prey. They will chase certain things, right? It's in their destiny to do so, right? This is the awareness of the hawk, right? It's also the awareness of the dog. The dog knows that it can't be snatched by the hawk. The dog don't even worry about it. Then we get to the eagle cannot snatch an egg from under the stomach of a fowl, right? It's certain parameters again, certain rules again that apply, right? The eagle will not snatch an egg while the other fowl is nesting, right? These are rules, right? Rules of consciousness. These are the rules of spirit. It's certain things that spirit can and can't do, right? It's certain ways that we should look at things, right? And certain ways that we should not do things. How do we learn how to do that? How do we learn? Where do we learn that at? Where do we learn that at? Where do we learn the rules? How do we learn the rules, right? Right. The baby has Ofoashe, right? It learns this at a very early age. We all do. We all start to learn the rules and how to change our states of being, right? Whether you're tired or thirsty, right? These are states of consciousness. Whether you're lonely or sad, these are states of consciousness. These are the rules. What spirit can do and can't do. How we should see a thing is going to affect how we act upon it. States of consciousness. We have control over our states of consciousness, over our perception, whether we like or dislike. What things will we do based on that perception. It's so simple, right? That sometimes we forget, right? That we have control, right? The things that we say are the things that we channel. The things we say, we channel. I'm angry, you're gonna be angry. I'm happy, I'm gonna be happy. I'm determined, I'm gonna be determined. Whatever it is, you have a choice on what state of consciousness, what energy you allow to come into your body. So if we think about it, right, like spirits, right? Anger is a spirit, but happiness is another spirit. Ogun is a spirit, but one that brings opportunity. Oshun and sweetness is another spirit. Shango can be confused at times, right? Or he can also be focused and determined, disciplined. These Orisha, right? Ifa help us to categorize and to develop these different states of consciousness, awareness. It's multifaceted, right? It comes from beginning to end. It's over 10,067 years old. You know, all these beautiful things. Oboshi Shell Boato. These are the states of consciousness. The Orisha. If you want to embody Shango, then you will wear red and white. You will have your O'Shea, right? You'll have your hair in cornrows. You'll put on the many layers of clothes that Shango wear to embody that energy, to manifest that energy, to invoke that energy. We have a choice of what level of consciousness that we're at. We can choose to go for Ifa reading. You can choose to go for a card reading. You can choose to use the pendulum. You can choose to do scrying. You can choose to do these other different things, right? In order to get the message, to get the information, to receive the blessing. But it's one thing that's for sure, right? These energies have to have a way of communicating. They have to have an outlet. Benny. Yeah, call me whenever. So, which level of consciousness will you master first? Which aspect of yourself, right? Because everybody has Ogun, everybody has Shango, everybody has Obatala, everybody has Egungun, everybody has Egbe, everybody has Iyami, everybody has, right? We all have the Orisha. We all have the Irumale. How will you invoke them? How will you use them? How will you connect the dots, right? The different aspects of you, these different levels of consciousness that you can obtain. How do we do that? Are we going to be disciplined? Right? It's important. Why is it important? Why is it important to be able to embody Ogun? Why is it important to be able to be to have the strength of Shango, right? With the wisdom of Ifa. What's the point, right? Because of manifesting. Think about it, right? We 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 are to be godlike. So if God, a Kamara, right, created the Irumale and the Orisha, and we trying to be godlike, right? We're trying to command our Irumale and Orisha in order to create something beautiful, something perfect, something timeless. That's what the point is, right? When we look at our children, when we look at the things that we accumulate, right? The goals we accomplish, the things we learn, right? When we do all these things, right? This is God like. This is a Kamara who created the universe, this the and everything in it, right? From consciousness, from these different levels of consciousness. We talk about universal consciousness, and we talk about collective consciousness, and we talk about all these things, right? But how do we utilize that on an individual level? By one, controlling your thoughts and emotions, making a decision to have particular thoughts, making a decision to feel a certain way instead of those things that we've been taught to do. This is why Ifa. This is why I get the Ifa reading. This is why I get Itefa. This is why I have your Isefa. This is why I join in these Orisha to your life. This is why. There's a lot of people that talk about, oh, you can do self initiations and this and that, and you can do all these things. And there's people that want to do rituals and things like that that maybe they shouldn't be doing. Why are they doing this? Because they, like you, want to shift their consciousness. They want to change something. They want to manifest something. They want to work towards something. They want to build something. Understanding that when we do that, right, there's certain things in the universe that have to give way to others, right? There's death and rebirth. There's this rebirth and death again, right? This evolutionary process that we all must continuously go through. Every day everybody goes to sleep. Some less than others. Some less than others, right? Some sleep more than others. This is your reset. So the next day when you wake up, do you get to have that day with all the information that you've learned in your life before. All the skills you've learned, all the classes you've sat in, all the jobs you worked, all the times you've kissed your spouse, all the times you've loved your children. You come to tomorrow with all that information. And so what you're going to do with it? Are we going to shift our consciousness? Are we going to show gratitude for all those things that we have, even though they may be in different measure? Are we going to show gratitude? Are we going to be benevolent? Are we going to have integrity? Are we going to have discipline? Are we going to be truthful? Are we going to be honest? Are we going to follow our agreements? These things add to different levels of consciousness. We can't ask for the outward change if we haven't made the inward change. The if we haven't done the self reflection, if we haven't set in our shadow and come out of it. But that's a level of consciousness. If I ask us not to sleep in the dark, right? So even when we're asleep, we're not in the dark about anything, right? There's a level of awareness still, light, possibility, even in the darkness. How does that have effect on you in your daily life and the situations that you may find yourself in? That you'll never be in the darkness. That you will always have hope. So that's one thing, right? That Ifa guarantees to its devotees success. Even if you go through something, there will be a reward. Even if you go through something, there will be a reward. So with Ifa, you never lose, right? It can be a little bit different, with some of these other systems. I can't really tell you about it. But I can tell you about Ifa. I can tell you how giving Orumila, right? Ifa, right, is the language, the words, the verbiage, the text, however you want to say it, right? This is what you give to the Orisha. So this is why you don't see a lot of mountings. If once they have E5, there's not a lot of mountings, right? Because the Orisha have a way to express themselves. They have a way to talk to us, deliver their message. Anybody in any ATR is a medium. Tell me I'm not. Tell me I'm wrong. Everybody allows energy into their body. Everyone. Everyone allows the spirit. Everyone can be Ogun. Everyone can be Chango. Remember, I said that already. When you cooking, right? Which Orisha is that? When you washing dishes, which Orisha is that? When you driving your car, which Orisha is that? When you have to stand up for yourself, which Orisha is that? So how can you pick one? It's like I'm all hand, right? I'm all right hand. No, I gotta be right hand and left hand, right? It's odd if you only got one hand. It's odd, right? There has to be two. All these energies you embody on a daily basis, how will they fit together? Will you use the Shango energy that is combative, or will you use the lofty one? Will you use the Ogun that is impatient and emotional, or will you use the one that's the pathfinder, right? These are the states of consciousness that we shift between. This is why the knowledge, right, and understanding of the Orisha, like this verse here in Oyeku Gasa, the hawk cannot snatch a dog, right? Those rules of consciousness. Your spirit can't have something that it ain't supposed to. The eagle cannot snatch an egg from a fowl, right? From the stomach of a fowl. It can't, right? Because the something is blocking it. There's something there. There's you can't take things from others, even spiritually. The elder who is internally wicked, but who displays righteousness outwardly. Some people fake it to make it. Sooner or later, right? If I say it, sooner or later it's gonna catch up with them. The truth will be revealed. So just like these other aspects of the Orisha, right? Who they are, how you act these energies out, how these what role these energies play in your life is up to you. This Odu Ifa says that who you truly are, right, will be exposed. What levels of consciousness that you are able to obtain and project will be visible to all sooner or later. We'll be able to see by your work. We'll be able to see by your deeds. We'll be able to see by your blessings, right? If I smash it to Aseke, Aseke, not Asake, Aseke is lies. It's lies. You can never put lies with Orisha. If I smash it to Aseke, the lies, the wife of Orisha, she was advised to offer a bow. She failed to comply. Can't you see how Aseke has created problem for Orisha? The Orisha only deal in truth. What will be, and it can be because it has to be. What is not is not. Understanding that all things come into existence through energy, through a particular vibration. All things come into existence through a particular vibration. So, what vibration is that? What vibration do you need? What mixture of Orisha and wisdom do we need to manifest? It has to be something in truth. It says it, right? The lie creates a problem for Orisha because they can't move based on a lie. They have to move based on truth. Otito. So again, right? It could be true that certain levels of consciousness are provoked or inspired or given birth to by certain circumstances. It's true. But we can have control over the circumstance by controlling our perception and our level of consciousness. It's possible, right, that an argument between two people can be witnessed by someone else. And a decision, right, the awareness of the third person can be projected. The decision, the consciousness of the third person can be projected on the two, inviting certain levels of consciousness, awareness. That's all consciousness is, awareness. Are we aware at what level are we aware? With awareness comes control, right? Situational awareness. We got to know where we at, right? Don't go on different sides of towns. You know, don't smoke, don't light your lighter while you pumping gas. These different things, right? Levels of awareness, right? Knowledge of the possibilities, explosion, death. But when it comes to some of these other things, right, that we can't really see, right, it's more felt than saw. It becomes a little more challenging. We have real life experiences that completely invoke certain responses. If I ask us to be mindful of our awareness, to build our awareness, to even look deeper into things, to understand certain rules about consciousness and destiny, and how those things are immovable. If it's one's destiny to be a man, you're a man. If it's one's destiny to be a woman, you're a woman. There's nobody here that can tell me any different because you were born a man or born a woman, right? We're not getting too much into that, but the point is, right, that there's only two ways, mainly, right, that you can come into this world. You know, pretty much. There's only two ways to come into this world as a man or a woman, right? There's these irregularities, these anomalies that take place where people can be hermaphroditic, but it's only those two. There's nothing new. There's not a third one. But yet and still, the awareness that this person has, right, comes through conditioning. Ifa, the Orisha, asks us to embody them, to develop these different states of consciousness inside of us. Don't pick one Orisha. It's like you cut the nose off of the face. Pick your destiny. Have everything that is encompassed in that. To move through these different aspects, these different colors, these different vibrations, to be you, to put all the pieces of your puzzle together, to put your destiny together, to put your life together. Right? Character is a big deal. Of course it is. We can talk about character, but not exhibit it. Again, this Ifa addresses it. Ashe. Questions, concerns, comments, anybody, anything? Don't have to necessarily be about this. This is what I wanted to talk about today. This is what I wanted to talk about. I had the music playing, but it was like, oh, it's too loud. Oh, it's too loud. Let's see how it goes now. Mama Jinde, how are you? Abura boy. I hope everybody well. I'm gonna try to put this music on, man. If y'all got any questions, let me know. I don't know if y'all can hear that music. Cheers to my friends and click. When I call them, I all pulling up. We strapped up with the guns and